If missing one workout sends you into a spiral of panic and chaos and food guilt and shame, then your body is desperately trying to release the accumulated and emotional and energetic blocks that nobody has ever addressed before. I'm Carly, and I've worked with hundreds of women who have been told their exercise compulsions are just discipline issues or a fitness addiction. But after years of studying how emotional blocks can create this physical protection pattern, I have discovered that exercise panic is actually your nervous system's way of managing unprocessed trauma and energetic blocks. So this isn't about willpower, self-control. This is about understanding that your body has learned to use movement as a survival strategy for managing what it can't process or hasn't processed before. Before I explain exactly why your nervous system panics without exercise, if you have ever wondered whether you are just tired or something deeper is going on with your nervous system because you feel exhausted all day, I have created the Am I Touched Out or Just Tired assessment. And that helps you identify when physical overwhelm is actually nervous system dysregulation from the accumulated, stored, or blocked energy. And you can grab that down below because this will help you understand your own patterns as we go deeper. Now, let me show you exactly what's happening in your body when you panic about missing exercise. When you have accumulated emotional and energetic blocks from childhood, perfectionism, body trauma, repeated diet failures, or chronic stress, your nervous system gets stuck in a state of hypervigilance. Your body is literally holding on to unprocessed emotions and trauma in your tissues. Exercise temporarily regulates this dysregulation by forcing the discharge of trapped emotional energy, by flooding your system with the feel-good chemicals, you've probably heard of those endorphins, that mask the underlying blocks, and gives your nervous system a sense of control when everything else in your life feels like it's spiraling out. It creates a temporary feeling of safety through familiar patterns. But here is the problem. You're using exercise like a pressure release valve for a broken system instead of fixing what's actually broken. Let me break down exactly what's happening energetically. Safety blocks show up as exercise that feels mandatory for your emotional regulation. So you might say something like, I have to exercise to be happy. You literally cannot feel safe in your body without movement because your nervous system has learned that stillness equals danger, or maybe even more dramatic, death. The control blocks manifest as rigid exercise schedules where missing one day creates panic because your nervous system equates control with survival. Your worth block drives you to earn your food through exercise because deep down, you don't believe that you deserve the nourishment or that you'll be safe with the nourishment or that you won't get fat from the nourishment. Identity blocks make you panic because being someone who exercises feels safer than facing who you are underneath that protective behavior. The panic you feel isn't about the missed workout. It's about the unprocessed emotions that exercise was helping you avoid feeling, like you're brushing it under a rug. Now, your body isn't broken. It's being incredibly intelligent by finding a way to process what it couldn't process from the past, or maybe you didn't have the tools to process it. But here's what happens when we rely on exercise to manage emotional blocks. You might notice immediate anxiety when your plans change, food guilt that seems irrational, but it feels so real to you. You may sense that your body will betray you if you rest. You may have thoughts racing about making up for it tomorrow or the next day somehow. You may feel physical tension in your body, and it might feel unbearable without movement. And this is all your nervous system responding normally to accumulated blocks that need proper healing, not just management. So the real work isn't about managing your exercise schedule or better finding more willpower. It's actually about identifying and clearing the emotional blocks that created the need for the exercise as a band-aid as emotional regulation in the first place. So when we clear those blocks, your body naturally wants to move from joy, not compulsion, from excitement and fun and expression, not from discipline and hardness and intensity. Rest will become more restorative instead of anxiety provoking, and your nervous system learns that safety doesn't depend on perfect movement patterns. This is deep work that takes time, typically anywhere from 12 to 18 months, because these blocks often took years to accumulate. But the freedom on the other side is like anything else on a surface level, or anything that those surface level approaches can provide. I'm going to go ahead and share my experience with exercise as I started to come off of the daily workouts that were an hour and a half long as I started to shift into my mother role. I was so rigid with my fitness routine that there was not one single day that I missed in the entire year. I didn't take Christmas off. I didn't take holidays off. There was no way that I would take that off. In fact, I have to admit that sitting still and not exercise was harder for me than it was for me to go to the gym and show up and do the galldarn exercise to begin with. And the moment that I actually had to sit still in my yoga teacher training, and I started to practice meditation, I lost my mind. Literally went into a panic attack. I felt my body, I felt my being shaking. I felt the flood of emotions coming up, and I was so angry at my husband for suggesting me to go into a room and sit quietly and be in a space of meditation. Rest was physically so uncomfortable for me to do that I would push myself one activity after another, nonstop, all day long, until I hit the bed and literally crashed. Overly exhausted, never actually living, only checking boxes and doing and going and performing. And now after practicing this meditation, after practicing skipping the gym, after intentionally trying to take breaks and listen to what my body actually needs, I now, 3 years later, can skip a day without feeling any guilt or shame and actually celebrate that I chose a beach day instead of a leg day. Time with my family, time enjoying nature, time still being active, but not so structured. But once I learned that the exercise panic made actual complete sense given the emotional blocks that my body had been managing, I stopped trying to override my nervous system's protective mechanisms, and I decided to start healing what created the need for protection in the first place. Your body's wisdom is trying to guide you towards the deeper healing and the healing that you actually need. If you want to know more about this, then drop a comment below, and I am so excited to dive into this with you on another level.